Hi everyone, it's Lara. So today we will finish the fourth row of single stitches that we started, and we will begin the fifth row of double stitches. So today we will basically learn how to make double stitches. So when we do a project, it will go even faster than just making single stitches. So I take what I started. We had already done 3 single stitches. So remember that you have to put the hook in the V. You take the yarn on the index, you put it inside the V. You have 2 loops. You take the crochet on the index and you put it in the 2 loops. Once again, you put the hook under the V. You take the yarn on the index under the V, and then you take the yarn on the index again and inside the 2 loops. So you can now finish your fourth row of single stitches. Remember, and I will say that for each video, not to put your hook in a stitch that you have already used. So not to put it twice in the same stitch, or to skip a stitch. That's very important. You can put the video on pause to go at your own pace. And remember, when you get to the end of the row, you have to make sure that you get to the last V. So this is my last V. There it is. So once you're done, remember that you always have to do 1 extra stitch. So you make 1 stitch right here. You turn it. Now we're ready. Well, we still have to check the stitches, the V's. Now we're ready to start learning how to make double stitches. So to make a double stitch, let's make the first one. You take the yarn on top of your index, then you put your hook under the V, the second one. You pass the yarn under the V only. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You take the yarn on the index and you pass it in the first 2 loops. So you still have 2 loops on your crochet. You take the yarn again and you pass it in the 2 loops. So remember that you always have to have 1 loop on your crochet at the end. So we just made our first double stitch of the 5th row. Let's try it again. You take the yarn on the index, you go to the next V, you pass your hook inside, you take the yarn and you just pass it under the V. You have 3 loops. You take the yarn on the index and you pass it inside the 2 first loops. You have 2 loops. You pass it under the yarn again and inside the 2 last loops. Now we have the second double stitch of the 5th row. Let's do 1 more. You take the yarn on the index. You pass the hook under the V. You take the yarn on the index and you only pass it under the V. You have 3 loops. You take the yarn on the index and you pass it in the first 2 loops. You still have 2 loops. And you take the yarn on the index again and you pass it inside the 2 loops. See? So we have the 3 first double stitches of the 5th row. What I want you to do is to keep practicing. Next class we will finish this row and we'll practice 1 more row before we start our first project together. So until next time, keep practicing. Bye.